Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. 2 days ago I competed in a competition in Halifax at 7 Bays called the North End. They have a few competitions a year, but this one tends to be their fun one. So they have regular qualifiers, and then they have an open category, and then top 6 competitors go to finals. So even with finals, it's still kind of a chill competition. It's more so just for fun. And I don't normally have someone taking video of me at these comps because Seb's usually competing with me and my friends are usually competing too. But unfortunately, Seb's hands started to cramp up before finals, and it's happened to him before, but not in a while, and it happened this time, so he had to sit this one out. But for like the first time in years, I actually have footage of me competing in finals, which is nice because I do analyze it in my head, but it's nice to actually see it afterwards. So something that is both a blessing and a curse is that I'm always analyzing myself. Like with teaching, if a lesson bombs, I am always very quick at pointing out what didn't work. And with photography, where it's still relatively new to me, I am very quick to point out things that I struggle with and try to figure out how to get better at them. So I tend to do this with climbing as well, which I think is, like I said, a blessing and a curse, because yay, I find out what I'm not doing well and I try to do better at it. But it's also a curse because I can't shut it off. So going back to this competition, even though I did quite well, I know there are some lessons to learn. So join me in over-analyzing my climbing. Joking. It's actually a really good practice to get into analyzing your performance, so long as it's not bringing you down, right? If you do well, give yourself credit for that. But always try to find a lesson in whatever you're doing, because that's how you will progress. So let's dig in, shall we? This finals format was a little different, as it was a fun competition. So the top 6 women, top 6 men moved on to finals. So in my group, so the 6 women, we were separated into 2 groups, so 3 and 3. And then each group had 10 minutes to send the problem. In that 10 minutes, you shared the problem with 3 other competitors. So you would try the problem once. If you fall, the next person gets to go, and then the third person gets to go, and then you keep rotating until everyone has sent the problem or 10 minutes have passed. So it's really fun because you get to compete with other people. It's fun for the spectators, I imagine, as well, because there's more people to watch. You can also beta steal, so you can kind of watch how other people are climbing it and figure it out. Anyways, so let's start off with problem number 1. Okay. So I should preface this with, I actually was climbing terribly in qualifiers and I felt terrible all week. And right before finals, my hand started to cramp up. I went over to the steep wall and I was warming up, and I think I warmed up too fast. I didn't actually like stretch or anything. And when I jumped off the wall, my hand was kind of locked into this position and I couldn't move it. I had to like pry my fingers open, and anytime my fingers closed too far, I couldn't get them open. And this happened right before we went to look at the problems. So the whole time I was trying to stretch my hand and rub out my muscles, thinking that would help. And I don't know if that helped, but luckily it didn't bother me the rest of the time. So anyways, yeah, that's my little sob story that really turned into nothing. Thank God. Okay, so this is finals problem number 1. I try to heel hook everything. Probably should have tried to keep my feet on there. Okay, that's not too bad. My main takeaway from that one is that I should try to, and this has always been my problem, but to keep my feet on as much as possible. I try to like burrow my way through things, which does work out in this case, but which doesn't actually teach me to get better at it. But in this case, I was trying to climb very fast because I was worried about my hand cramping, and I thought that it would happen if I was pumped. So I tried to fight the pump by just climbing like as quick as I could, not really thinking about what I was doing. Luckily it worked out. This problem wasn't actually as hard as I thought it would be. The two starting hands are pretty positive and grippy. Actually, the other competitor in my group actually walked away from this problem with like bleeding hands because they were so sharp, and they were really good. So overall, not too bad with that route. All right, so let's go to number 2. Okay, so slab. I hate slab. I am so freaked out with it. I tend to never work it. So I think my slab ability is really around a V2. Luckily on this one, the holds were quite positive and it didn't really feel as bouncy as I thought it would be. So I'm happy that I got to the top, but you'll see in a second. Okay. So chalking up. The first part of this problem was cut out, by the way, but I brought my chalk bag because I knew that I would be really greasy. I don't know, just a problem I have. I probably didn't need to chalk up as much as I did, but you know. So this is where I fiddle around with the holds a little bit. My first attempt, I got to this spot and I tried to do the exact same move that I'm about to do, but I fell. So I knew in my head I was too far away. So the main thing I did this time, which I'm actually quite happy about because I was just ready to jump for the finish, which is the intended beta. But I take my right hand and I wrap it around just to give me a little bit more reach. And then it worked. Yeah, so there, when I wrapped my right hand around that side, I was actually about to kind of press over and then go to the finish hold. But when I was in that position, I thought, well, I'm actually a little bit closer now. And my first try, I fell because I was too far. And now I'm a little bit closer. Let's try that again. And my intention was that if I felt like I was going to fall or I felt uneasy, I'd pull back and then I was gonna do the jump. But luckily it worked out and I got it. Yay! So I'm not terrible at slab, I actually am terrible at slab. Okay, problem number 3 is actually my favorite problem. And Seb told me I did this much more burly than it had to be, and I tend to agree, you'll see. But I liked it. I really like that move. That was really fun. That crimp, the left hand crimp, was worse than I thought. Yeah, so when I got to that left hand crimp, I was worried that it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good as I thought. And that was the hand that was cramping up. So in my head, I expected it to cramp and for me not to let go. So I was trying to move as fast as I could here. So I reached through, so I grab it, reach through, and then just fire to the finish hold. Again, because I was worried about that left hand cramping up. So in this case, I probably should have done that a little slower. If that finish hold was any worse, if it wasn't a jug, I may not have stuck that because I went with too much momentum. Again, it worked out for me, but these are all things that I like to pick up on because if the holds were slightly worse, those moves might not necessarily work, which is the case when I go away to competitions. The holds become worse than they are here, and I struggle with them because I'm trying to burrow my way through them. So watching this is actually super helpful because I could have done that a little smoother, and the girl that was with me in my group actually did that move way better than I did. And so that was nice to see that it is possible. And we're the same height, so really I didn't really need to be jumping for that. Okay, the last route. Okay, so this one was on their barrel wall, which is a very steep wall. And I was talking to the girls in my group, and they tend to stay away from overhang, whereas that's where I live. That's my jam. So this one I knew I could do, but at the end of a long day of climbing, my muscles are really unpredictable. I could either be totally fine or I could be totally gassed. In this case, I actually felt quite strong, surprisingly, but you'll see where I've made quite a few mistakes that, again, in another situation, it may not have worked out this well. Also, thanks to Seb for filming this through the bay doors. You can see the lights there a little bit. He got the shot. Okay, so dynamic. I love heel hooks because it takes off some pressure from your arms. You can kind of rest a little bit. Okay. I try to get momentum there because, again, my arms are a little tired. So that swing actually saves me some energy. Okay. Forgot that foot, the right foot. I should have kept my foot on. Right to the finish, and there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna back this up a little bit. There, you can see me notice that hold that I completely missed, and then this foot that I completely missed. So I kind of set my hands up completely terrible for that last move, but I honestly didn't remember these two holds. So I made that finish a lot harder than it had to be. Luckily, that finish hold was better than I thought. You saw me take a big momentum swing up to it because I thought it was gonna be terrible, but it was actually quite good. If it was any worse, I may not have stuck that because that right hand that I missed would have set that move up a lot better with a lot less energy. If I was lacking in power endurance, that may not have gone down so well. I'm very happy with this competition. I'm very happy with how I did. I like to analyze a little bit and see where I can improve. So I hope this was useful. I hope that you take the time next time you're at a competition, you're outside climbing, and look at what you're doing well and what you can improve on, because I think there is a huge advantage to pointing out what you do well and what you could work on. Otherwise, we're not gonna progress. We're gonna stay exactly where we are. So yeah, I hope you took something away from this, whether it was just to watch me climb or to actually think, maybe I should do this in my own climbing. Whatever it is, I hope it was entertaining. Anyways, thanks for watching. You can follow me at AlleyGirl1 on Instagram and Twitter. And please subscribe to my channel so I can keep putting out videos like this and similar videos, because I really like to make them and it's nice to have you guys like them too. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.